Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a bit of an older deck idea centered around Mega Gardevoir EX from, I believe that is Primal Clash. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a ton and really lets us do more for you guys. But anyway, like I said, this is a little bit of an older idea centered around Mega Gardevoir all the way back in Primal Clash. And while not much has changed about the basic structure of the deck, it has gotten a few new cards that has helped it out a ton. So starting with the Pokemon, I am running one Lugia EX just for Arrow Ball. I mean, it's a great backup attacker in case you're like against a Steel deck or something like that, or your opponent just has something with a lot of energy. You can just Fairy Transfer a ton of the Fairy energy onto Lugia and then Arrow Ball for an absolute ton of damage. 2 Shaman, just because, I mean, Shaman and setup. 3-3 of Gardevoir and Mega Gardevoir. We are up. Nope, that's an Ultra Ball, not a Mega Gardevoir. That's a Mega Gardevoir. Focused around the Brilliant Arrow attack, which is 30 damage times the number of Fairy energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So basically, just times 30 times the number of Fairy energy in play. So this racks up damage very, very, very quickly, and this deck focuses on trying to get as much energy out as possible. Now, a big reason this deck works so well is because of Aromatisse with Fairy Transfer. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a Fairy energy attached to one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. So that is great for getting, like, just moving energy around, all of that stuff. I mean, just powering up Lugia, moving energy off of something. And I'm just realizing now that I do not have any max potions, which I will definitely remedy probably right now. We are running 3 of the Xerneas EX, well, not Xerneas EX, just regular Xerneas with the Geomancy attack. This guy is what we want to start with all the time, and I know normally you run 4 of these. I am actually only running 3 just because Fairy Garden and Fairy Transfer make it so easy for you to get a Xerneas as your main attacker turn 1. So that's why I'm not really worried about putting 4 in this deck. I find that 4 of them just makes it clunky and really doesn't make it work as well as you want it to. We are also running 1 Hoopa just because we are running Shaman EX, Lugia EX, all of like the Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, and Hoopa is great for bringing those guys out, and is also something that you can just throw some Fairy energy on, as it will more than actually it'll never be in the active spot. You will never be attacking with Hoopa. So I mean, Hoopa is just something that can sit there and hold on to some Fairy energy if too much stuff is damaged. Onto the items, like I said, I am going to throw a couple max potions in, but we are running 2 Level Ball just for the Spritzy and Aromatisse. We are running 4 Max Elixir, again as a way of moving energy onto our bench immediately. We are running 1 Super Rod just to bring some stuff back. I mean, occasionally if you get something big knocked out, you will lose a ton of your energy, so you're not really able to do much after that. So Super Rod is a way to put some energy back in the deck. Running 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker, I mean, to reuse our supporters. 1 AZ, that's not an AZ, that's an Aromatisse. I'm getting more used to the clicking problem with TCGO, but not completely. 1 AZ to bring something up that has a ton of damage on it. 1 Lysander, 4 Sycamore, 1 Skyla, and 1 Teammates. Actually, I am probably going to get rid of the Teammates and put a Max Potion. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that right now. I will get rid of 1 Teammates and 1 Fairy Garden and add 2 Max Potion. Max Potion was one of the cards that caused this deck to be able to be used more effectively, along with Max Elixir from BREAKpoint. So there you go, there's the item line I'm going to be running with. Max Potion, just move all the energy off of your Pokemon. With Aromatisse, Max Potion it up, and it is now fully healed. So these 2 cards from BREAKpoint, and I mean, they just help this deck so much. I cannot stress how much they help this deck. And I had Teammates in there just because you normally want to Geomancy with Xerneas until it goes down. So having Teammates there is a kind of way of being like, oh, you knocked it out, well, guess what? I can get a Gardevoir Spirit Link and a Mega Gardevoir with 1 supporter. I mean, that's why Skyla is in this deck, just to search out the Gardevoir Spirit Link. I mean, it's either that or Fairy Garden. Those are really the only 2 that you're going to be searching out that more often than not. And Skyla, I find that I don't even use that much, but it is nice tech just to have in there in case you need one of these 2. 1 Fighting Fury Belt, only for the Lugia. I mean, you can throw it on Xerneas to be able to one-shot a Shaman with the Rainbow Spear, but you really don't want to be attacking with Xerneas. You want to be attacking with Gardevoir or Mega Gardevoir. So the Fighting Fury Belt just gives Lugia a little more longevity. 3 Gardevoir Spirit Link because we are running 3 Mega Gardevoir, and then a whopping 12 Fairy Energy because we want to hit for too much damage. There is no such thing as too much damage in this deck, and that is exactly what we are going for. So, yeah, that is the deck, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Exiled Clown with a pure Psychic deck, so, oh boy, this is probably a Trevenant deck, so that's, I mean, if we can get a Mega Gardevoir out, then that will be much to our advantage, and so, I mean, that's, well, I mean, we go first, so that is great. This deck doesn't mind going second, but it does not like being item locked, so, okay, we don't even start with anything. Yep, this is definitely a Trevenant deck. You wouldn't see Bursting Balloon unless it wasn't. We do see the Team Player Grunt, which luckily will not mean too much to this deck, so really I just had to play all of my item cards out as soon as possible, and okay, so we do start with a Gardevoir and a Gardevoir Spirit Link that is pretty solid, actually. So, our opponent mulls again, we do see a Headringer, and there you go, you have the Trevenant Break. Enhanced Hammer will be absolutely useless in this match because we don't run any special energy at all, and really we just had to focus on getting energy out as quickly as possible and try to keep our opponent from being able to do really too much. Okay, we do get to get a couple cards because our opponent mulled again, and okay, we are in a pretty solid position to start off with. I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Sycamore and the Max Potion to grab, I think I'm going to grab a Xerneas. Yeah, I mean, I could have grabbed a Hoopa, but I really don't need that, especially because I have the Gardevoir and the Shaman out. Put the Gardevoir Spirit Link there, play the Shaman EX. Yes, I would like to draw until I have 6 cards in my hand. We get another Gardevoir, that's not a horrible thing. Let's just go ahead and VS Seeker, grab the Sycamore, and I really want to get a Fairy Garden. That's what I want a lot. Okay, we do get that. We get another Spirit Link, and what I think I'm going to do next turn, well, I have to, yeah, I think that's all I can do right now. I don't want to play another Gardevoir down just in case, like, I draw another Shaman or something, but we're going to end the turn right there. We're in a decent position to start off with. I might have attached the energy to the Gardevoir, and my opponent just immediately red cards us, so that's curious. Hopefully I draw, so I draw a Skyla, which I can, we do see a Crushing Hammer. Nope, you do not get the Crushing Hammer heads. We do see that and a Bursting Balloon. What I think I'm going to do is Fairy Garden, or Skyla for a Fairy Garden. And yeah, okay, so we'll get the Trevenant up. Hopefully I draw an energy. That is what I'm really hoping for right now. Oh, sweet, we do get it. So I'm going to go ahead and Skyla for that Fairy Garden. Let's go ahead and play that down, get rid of the Dimension Valley, play the energy onto the Gardevoir, retreat into the Xerneas, play the Mega Gardevoir down, and then go for a Geomancy onto my Gardevoir and my Mega Gardevoir, get some energy in play. That way I am 1 energy away from being able to go for Brilliant Arrow next turn, and we are in a pretty solid position. The only thing I could ask for more would be an Aromatisse, but okay, we are, I don't like that my opponent got a Trevenant Break turn 2. That is not the best. Do see a Hard Charm onto that, so I will just try to get a ton of energy into play. I even get a Sycamore, so hopefully that will draw me something that I can use. Kind of. Okay, so we get that. We get another energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I need 1 more turn of energy in order to be able to knock out the Trevenant, I think. So what I am going to do is go ahead and put an energy onto the... Do I want to put it on the Xerneas, just in case I have to retreat? I might just go ahead and do that, and then go for a Geomancy onto my 2 Mega Gardevoir. And alright, we have a ton of energy in play. That is phenomenal. And we will be able to knock out the Trevenant next turn. I was kind of debating just going ahead and retreating. That way I could just hit the Trevenant for a good amount of damage. But I wanted to try to get as much energy in play as possible. And it looks like my opponent will be able to Sycamore for... Okay, he had to discard 2 Trevenant. That is great. He did get the Dimension Valley, so that was something that I wasn't really looking for. I mean, I didn't exactly enjoy that, but he does get another bad Crushing Hammer, which is great. Puts 30 damage on all of my Pokemon. The Spritzy... Okay, I do get an Aromatisse, so that is great. What I can do then is go ahead and manually retreat. I think it's time to just start hitting this Trevenant for a ton of damage. And then let's go ahead and Brilliant Arrow for 130. Damage is decreased. It's not a big deal. I do have the Aromatisse if he gets more Fairy, or gets more Crushing Hammer going. And we're in a solid position. He does Wally, probably... Well, I mean, he has to just go ahead and get another Trevenant up. And we're in an okay position. I would very much like to get one more energy in play. Just because, I mean, then I would be one-shotting the Trevenant EX, and I do get a Sycamore. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. Grab some more energy. Hopefully. Nope, don't get an energy, but what I do get is a Fairy Garden, which, I mean, that works. It gets rid of his Dimension Valley, which, I mean, is really all I need. And then I'm just going to go for a Brilliant Arrow, knock out the Trevenant Break, and draw into a prize card. Maybe it's an energy. Yes, that is... I know that doesn't look like a lot, but I mean that's really, really good for us. And I can even Lysander in his Phantump next turn. I mean, he does get rid of my whatchamacallits, my Spirit Links, but that is not too big of a deal because we will be able to just, I mean, Fairy Transfer for anything extra that we need. And we can even Lysander in a Phantump next turn and knock it out to where we can use our items too. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is play the energy onto the Gardevoir. How many energy are in my discard pile? 3. Let's go ahead and Lysander in the Phantump with the energy on it. Super Rod back in 3 energy. 1, 2, and 3. And then Max Elixir twice to see what we can draw. Yes, we do get 1 Fairy Energy onto this Xerneas. And let's go ahead and Max Elixir again, get another energy. So we are just in energy overload right now. Gonna go ahead and Fairy Transfer this one onto the Mega Gardevoir. And you know what? I'm just gonna put both of them on the Mega Gardevoir just because, I mean, they are the ones with the most HP. And I think I'm just going to knock this out with a Brilliant Arrow. I don't want to draw too deep into my deck just because I only have 11 cards left, and I also have everything I need right now. Unfortunately, my opponent will be able to item lock us again. I wish I had the VS Seeker instead of the Ultra Ball, but, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. My opponent will VS Seeker probably for a Wally or a Sycamore just because he wants to get more stuff out, and I think we are honestly in too good of a position right now to lose. I mean, he can't do that much damage. He can do 30 more, which would knock out an Aromatisse if he gets a Trevenant Break. Gets a Bursting Balloon, which, I mean, is just fine. Okay, and my opponent just concedes. I mean, what I could have done right there is played down the Lugia, Fairy Transferred energy onto it, and then just taken 60 damage right there with the Bursting Balloon if I didn't want my Mega Gardevoir to take it. So we were able to do a ton of damage, and oh, we even level up with Fairy, so that is phenomenal. And that match went very quickly, but that is exactly what this deck is supposed to do. It's supposed to just swarm the field with Fairy energy and then hit your opponent for an insane amount of damage. So that being said, let's just go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found one against Ikoba with a, I didn't even see, it was like Electric, Water, Normal, and Psychic maybe. So I mean, it probably is a Night March deck, so this should be interesting. This deck does have a little bit of problem with Night March just because it isn't able to attack turn 1, and it really doesn't have any small attacks that it can go for. So that could be a little bit of a problem. I mean, if it's not Night March, then you know what? We dodged a bullet there. That's what I'm... Fingers crossed on that one, and we do lose the coin flip. That is very unfortunate. My opponent does choose to go first, so that doesn't tell us anything. If he allowed me to go first, then that would immediately tell me that he was okay with the going second, which would mean that it was Night March. So I am just going to start with a Spritzy in the active because I do have a Fairy Garden, and this looks to be, okay, a Manectric. It's probably a Manectric Bats deck based on the fact that I see a Zubat and a Lugia. I mean, Lugia is a little bit interesting in that type of deck. It could be a Mega Manectric Bats deck. That would be my second guess, and that's actually kind of what I'm thinking it is right now. So he goes for the Super Scoop Up, he gets Heads, it means he will be able to, I think, drop one card again. So, I mean, hopefully that means my opponent doesn't have much. Okay, he apparently just has a ton of Super Scoop Ups, which is, I mean, okay, he gets Tails on that. That is great. Wow, my opponent had 3 Super Scoop Ups in its opening hand, jeez. But I mean, that is phenomenal for me because he won't be able to use Bats later on. And we get a great opening hand. What I can do is go ahead and play the Spritzy, play the Gardevoir down, Ultra Ball away, probably the Level Ball and the Fairy Energy to grab, I think I'll grab a Hoopa. Yeah, I'll grab a Hoopa, play that down, grab a Shaman, a Lugia, and not a Mega Gardevoir. Yes, there we go. Okay, I like that hand a lot. We can go ahead and play the Lugia down, we can play the Shaman down. I do want a regular Xerneas, if I can somehow get it. Oh, that is great, I even get that. I can go ahead and retreat into this guy. Ultra Ball, you know what, let's go ahead and Lysander in. Nah, you know what, let's just go ahead and Sycamore away our hand, see if we can draw something a little bit better. Do get a Gardevoir Spirit Link and a Max Potion, so that is pretty solid. I probably should have waited to retreat because if I get a Fairy Energy here, yep, I did, then I could have Geomancy'd this turn, but it's not that huge of a deal. I'm just going to end my turn right there, and Geomancy next turn. So I played that a little bit out of order, but it is not the end of the world. We do see the Golbat. He's probably going to try to target down the Spritzy because that is the lowest HP, or he targets down the Gardevoir. And we do see a Headringer. Goes on to my Lugia, not that big of a deal, as Zero Sick will discard my my Spirit Link, so that is kind of a bummer. I do see another Shaman. What I am going to do is just go ahead and Geomancy, put energy onto the Gardevoir and the Lugia, and just slowly power things up until I can get something new. Yeah, I think that is what I need to do for now. I might try to attach energy to the Xerneas to attack, but I really don't think that that would be in my best interest. As soon as I can get a Max Potion for the Spritzy, okay, so I'm glad he did not target down the Spritzy because he would have been able to KO that. And I do need an Aromatisse so I can... Oh, there you go. There's my Aromatisse. Let's go ahead and grab that. And then put that here. Go ahead and play... Go ahead and I think, you know what, I'm actually going to go for the Lugia right now. Play this onto the Lugia, play another one onto Lugia. I think I'm done for now. Let's go ahead and Max Potion up the Gardevoir. Go ahead and, I think, retreat. I normally wouldn't do this, but because my opponent has absolutely nothing going, I'm just going to go for it. Let's go ahead and... Do I want to go for a Deep Hurricane or an Aero Ball this turn? Because if my opponent somehow gets a DCE, then I'm in trouble. But, you know what, for now, I'm just going to attach an energy to Gardevoir and go for an Aero Ball. Just get 60 damage, set my opponent up for the 2-hit KO next turn with another Aero Ball if I choose to go for it, which I probably will. I mean, there's no reason for me to Deep Hurricane to discard my Stadium, and I'm in actually a pretty good position despite not getting a draw supporter with my second hand. And yeah, that Aromatisse top deck was pretty clutch, and my opponent just has to draw and pass. Oh my goodness, that really stinks for them. So what I am going to do, attach another energy to Lugia, Fairy Transfer, get one more and two more to be able to knock out the Lugia, opposing Lugia with... Actually, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and Fairy Transfer this energy onto the Gardevoir, and done there. And then let's go ahead and knock out the opposing Lugia with an Aero Ball. and take 2 prizes. So we're in a great position right now. Get a VS Seeker and an AZ. So what I can even do is something really cheeky to get the head ringer off my Lugia. Just move all the energy onto something else and even just like knock it out. So okay, he does get a Manectric down. That is a little bit scary, meaning that I will want to get the energy off of Lugia. I can even Deep Hurricane next turn if I want to. I will probably try to... He gets rid of a DCE, so that's kind of big. But he gets a Shaman. Well, I don't know why he played Silent Lab down first. That was a big mistake on his part, because, I mean, now Shaman's ability is completely worthless. He will be able to overrun for a little bit of damage this turn, but what I can do... My opponent just forfeits. I mean, he couldn't really do anything. I mean, all I had to do was just... I could even just AZ up the Hoopa, play it back down. Actually, no, I couldn't because there was Silent Lab. But either way, I could have searched for a Mega Gardevoir somehow, gotten that into play, and then one-shotted the Manectric. I was in such a great position, my opponent really couldn't do anything about it. I just had too much energy in play, and yeah, he couldn't one-shot my Lugia, which had all the energy on it. So anyway, that was a perfect example of the deck again in action. I mean, just get a bunch of energy out and play and hit your opponent really hard to where they can't retaliate. And thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.